On Tuesday, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke held a campaign event in Hurst, Texas. During the rally, O'Rourke encouraged Texans to get out to vote, as early voting starts in the state. O'Rourke continued to hammer Governor Greg Abbott over the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that claimed the lives of 19 children and 2 adults. He also decried the state's total abortion ban, following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Current polls show O'Rourke trailing behind the incumbent Republican governor.
Good morning. Buenos dias. We did this yesterday, and it was a lot wetter. A lot colder, a lot windier. It's so beautiful out. The sun is up, the wind has died down, it's starting to dry out here, and we're voting. And it's amazing because for the last year, so many of us, Gwen, myself, our campaign teams, many of you as volunteers, have been doing everything that you can to make sure that we get the word out to people about how important this election is. It's literally the election of our lifetimes. Our lives are literally on the ballot. In a state where gun violence is a leading cause of death for children and teenagers, where we have more school shootings than any other state in the union, where today marks 22 weeks to the date when 19 kids and their 2 teachers were taken from us in Uvalde. And for the 22 weeks since then, this state, our current governor, the Republican majority that's in that legislature that Gwen wants to join right now and do better for, they have not done a single thing to make it any less likely that any other child in this state meets the same fate as those 19 kids. In fact, the only thing Abbott has done after 5 of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history in this state over the last 5 years is make it easier for folks who shouldn't have a firearm to begin with to carry them openly in our streets. Homicides up 50%. The governor who said he was going to eliminate rape when he signed that abortion bill into law that has no exception for rape or incest or even really functionally the life of the mother, presides over a state where more rapes have taken place than in any other state in the union, and our ability to bring a perpetrator to justice has declined by half. When you match that with the fact that we are hounding teachers out of the classrooms today, so grossly underpaying them against what they're really worth, forcing them to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. Our retired teachers haven't seen a cost of living adjustment since the year of our Lord, 2004. Wow. And maybe, just maybe, prices and costs have gone up a little bit since then for them. Making people worried about CRT or transgender kids using the bathroom, or scaring us about one another and our differences and asking us to hate and fear each other instead of bringing us together to do the big things that we're truly capable of. That's what we're all up against right now. And I would understand if you at some point over the course of this last year have been tempted to give up or to submit to this or succumb to despair and to say, you know what, I guess this is the price of living and of dying in the state of Texas. But instead of that, you are here right now, and you recognize that it is incumbent upon all of us to overcome these challenges. In fact, it's the only way we'll be able to do it. I come here today to tell you that not only can we do this, we have done this before against much longer odds. Think about this. For the women among us right now, you know better than anybody that this state has a total abortion ban with no exception for rape or incest or the life of the mother. It takes place in a state that leads the developed world in the rate of maternal mortality. That is going to become much, much worse since this bill became law. Now, 50 years ago, abortion was just as illegal in Texas as it is today. But no one came from outside of this state to rescue the women and the girls of Texas. In fact, it was young Texas women who did the job. Jane Roe of Roe versus Wade, Linda Coffey, who lives not too far from here, one of her young attorneys, and Sarah Weddington of bright blue Abilene, Texas. Those 3 young women prevailed upon an all-male United States Supreme Court in 1973 to decide that the women of this country have the right to privacy, to make very personal and often very painful decisions on their own without government intervention or interference. My belief is, if Texas women won the way 50 years ago, Texas women are going to win it back in 2022 in this. our kids from having to fear that an active shooter will enter their school, because we're going to elevate their lives and prioritize them ahead of the NRA or the gun lobby. Common sense ideas like just raising the age of purchase for an AR-15 to 21, or a red flag law that would allow us to intervene before it is too late, or just a universal background check. It just says, look, you want to buy a gun in Texas, we're cool with that. As long as we can do some due diligence to make sure you're not going to use it against yourself, your wife, or someone in our lives. Most of us, gun owners, Republicans, Democrats, non-gun owners, independents alike, can get behind that. And teachers, making sure that they're paid enough not to work a second or a third job to make ends meet, allowing them to focus on the kids in front of them by canceling the STAR test, because that's doing nothing for those children. Retired teachers getting a cost of living adjustment every single year, and treating educators with the respect and dignity that they deserve, they earn, and each one of us owe them and want to be able to pay them. In other words, bringing the people of Texas together to do the great big things that we are truly capable of. World-class public schools, expanding Medicaid so you can see a doctor, take your kid to a healthcare provider, fill your prescription in the least insured state in America today, and investing in our communities so the best jobs in America are found right here in the state of Texas. That is what we are voting for today. And I'll tell you what, the way that we all came together 4 years ago allowed me to be the first Democrat in more than 2 decades to win Tarrant County in an election. The way that we're all coming together today on the second day of early voting, everything that you are willing to do to reach out and tell the people in their lives about how important this election is, means that Tarrant County will put us over the top, not just here, but across the state of Texas. We are going to win this election, and we are going to do it together. So I ask you not only to vote, but to remind your friends, your family, your neighbors, your classmates, your colleagues, the things that you vote for. Remind them about great public servants like Democrats and others who actually believe there are some, I mentioned earlier, the temptation to be almost despair or give up or to this. There's some who have taken the person's picture and in your own words, in your own heart, describing what brought you out here today. That may shake them loose and bring them out as well. There is literally a majority out there who wants to do better for this state. They have been locked out, drawn out, sharing their way out. You have the power to bring them in. So, thank you for voting. Thank you for keeping the faith. Thank you for keeping up the fight. 2 weeks to go, and I look forward to celebrating with you a historic victory for the state of Texas.